Hello guys, Jessie Ashley here with the agency Los Cabos. Today I am delighted to be sitting here with the amazing Chris from Moxi. I have had personal experience in working with Chris, and if you're not sure what Moxi is a cross-border financing company that helps American citizens be able to finance property here in Los Cabos. So let's welcome Chris.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here, Jessie.
Maybe you can share a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
what you do with Moxi.
Sure. I'm Chris Childress with Moxi. I'm the retail sales channel manager over here. I've been with Moxi since pretty much since the very beginning. When it was kind of a conversation in a coffee shop and trying to identify a way to fill a need for U.S. citizens here in Mexico. My wife and I moved down here back in 2017 after traveling here for many years. It got to be 7, 8, 9 times a year. We figured, why not try to make it a long-term thing?
Right.
So we put together a 5-year plan, and less than 18 months later, we were here
And
in
boom.
Cabo, and here we are.
And you're loving it?
Loving it.
Right?
Approaching 8 years in Los Cabos now.
Wow.
So, what a wonderful
Yeah, I'm hitting 13.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Right?
It's an easy place to be, right?
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've been with Moxi for how long?
Pretty much since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Yeah,
He's the OG.
Well, yeah, was there since it was kind of an idea and just trying to figure out a way. And then a few years ago, we really kind of elevated our presence. We had a group of investors purchase the company.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time.
Yeah.
7 years.
Well, and I've personally had experience working on transactions with Moxi, and they've always been seamless.
Perfect.
So they've always been.
We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, and I love how diligent Moxi is on the front end and also on the back end. You know, when all things, just ensuring that everybody is protected, especially the client, the buyer.
Such an important consideration, especially in a place like Mexico.
Very cool. I have some questions for you,
Perfect.
Chris. I have them written down.
Wonderful.
One thing I think that is really important is to let people know what types of loans and mortgages that Moxi offers to U.S. citizens.
Certainly. So we're super excited to offer long-term fixed-rate mortgages for U.S. citizens. We are proud to offer purchase money loans, also rate and term refinances, so we can refinance them existingly.
Okay.
And then we also.
That's a common question that comes up too.
Yeah. And I believe that we're the only bank currently offering refinances and cash-out refinances to U.S. citizens in Mexico. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to harvest their equity, maybe reposition that into another investment or for home improvement projects or something like that, we also cash
Right.
out.
And I think sometimes, first off, people are thinking that when you purchase property in Los Cabos, it's a cash-only transaction, and we're explaining here that is not the case.
Yes.
And then once people learn that, just one type of transaction is just getting the financing to purchase maybe their first property, but now you're sharing that there's a refinancing option, which I think a lot of people don't even or aren't even aware of.
Yeah.
So that's great. Another question I have for you: what are some key benefits of financing a property in Los Cabos through Moxi?
Well, there's several, especially for the U.S. citizen. First and foremost, in a typically what was considered a cash market, it's never really all cash. Even if you're leveraging assets you have in the United States, or even harvesting equity from a piece of real estate there, you're still essentially borrowing from yourself or borrowing from an asset that you already own. Yeah. One of the benefits of financing with Moxi is that we actually leverage the asset that you're looking to purchase, or that you're looking to acquire. So we file lien on the Mexican real estate. So we are a lender who issues loans in U.S. dollars. We service in U.S. dollars stateside. Yeah. And then we file lien against the collateral in the United States. Another benefit to the U.S. citizen is that we also offer what's called a 1098 INT statement at the end of the year in the United States. So because of the fact that we service stateside, we're able to issue this statement that offers potential tax benefits for U.S. citizens on their
That's
US
amazing.
tax returns.
That will give U.S. citizens a lot of comfort when they're utilizing Moxi here, because it has their systems also in the United States.
Absolutely.
Right?
We tried to emulate the U.S. experience and the benefits as much as possible while incorporating the Mexican collateral perspective.
Yeah. Cool. Another question that I think is really important is, what are some of the typical qualifications that a U.S. citizen would need in order to obtain a mortgage loan with Moxi?
That is a great question. So first and foremost, Moxi offers up to a 65% loan to value in purchase and regular refinance transactions, up to a 60% for a cash out refinance. So what that means is that we would need to see at least a 35% down payment. U.S. credit scores, borrowers are required to have all three U.S. credit scores. The middle credit score for our primary wage earner must be over 700. There's a little caveat there. I just mentioned that we can finance up to 65% or with as little as 35% down. We do require a 720 plus credit score to achieve that 65%. Between 700 and that 720 is 50%.
So then what would you recommend people not to do when they're getting their finance?
Well, first and foremost, get organized and get organized early, right? So work through to get the pre-qualification, know where you stand in that respect so you can plan and budget accordingly. And then once you have loan approval and once you get through that process, don't change anything until you close.
Don't
go buy the new Cabo boat yet. Don't purchase and finance the furniture until after you're finished. Just keep everything.
Stay calm.
That's right. That's exactly
and allow it to carry on.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so there are other products out there. So what makes Moxi mortgage process unique, and how you support clients throughout their journey in purchasing their property here in Los Cabos?
So one of the unique attributes is that we do leverage the Mexican real estate, like we talked about a few minutes ago. Second is going to be our experience. We've been here, we're kind of, like you mentioned, kind of the OG in the industry. So we've cut our teeth, right? We've learned our lessons, learned what makes things work. We've learned what slows things down and causes complications. So we've been able to adapt our program and our systems and our workflows to kind of account for those. And another thing that we've learned through this process is the necessity for transparency in all things. You've been down here for 13 years, you're in the real estate game. You understand that surprises are inevitable. So what we try to do is
be as transparent right from the get-go, right from the start, so that by the end there is no surprises.
Yeah, we kind of pull back the veil, let everything go, and that way if we do encounter any problems, we're already at least aware of the situation. We can already have a game plan of how we're going to address it, and it helps us to navigate through it much more smoothly.
I have seen the growth of the Moxi product. So
yes, we've done several transactions together. We just had one recently that closed, and by the way, received wonderful review from that client. Great feedback for both our services. They were giving us wonderful feedback as well as the service you provide. So congratulations.
And
thank you.
Also, they gave us an amazing gift. Some really nice pillows that were handmade from one of the charities out here in Los Cabos.
Oh, this is so good.
It was really nice gift.
What a great organization.
It was really special, and I was like, wow, thank you so much, because you don't get that at every closing, Okay, one more question for you. What advice would you give U.S. citizens considering financing a property in Los Cabos? Like, what are the common pitfalls?
Well, be prepared. Get an early start. Make sure you do your due diligence right. Work with professionals who have your best interests at heart. Kind of take time to vet the players and to vet the process, and just to make sure you're getting in the game with a game plan. Be leery of professionals or anybody in the industry that seems to be pitching something that's too good to be true. Super inexpensive closing cost, or we can navigate around this. We don't have to do this in order to achieve this. Mexico's very particular about what it takes to achieve what we like to refer to as full legal transfer. So in order to make sure you get it right, just work with somebody you trust, ask the important questions, dig deep to make sure you get all the information so that you can navigate it.
Another question just came to my mind. Sorry. How long does it typically take to get your pre-approval?
Okay, so the pre-approval process is relatively quick.
I know. I was surprised but I want you to tell them.
So I kind of have to give you a canned answer on that, right? So the speed at which we can get this done and move through each stage of the process is directly associated with the engagement of all parties, right? So if we have a borrower who's anxious and excited to get pre-qualified, they submit their loan application, provide the necessary documents so that we can arrive at an informed credit decision, and they do that rather quickly. Once we get the application in the package, it takes me inform my team member maybe a day or so just for the initial review, and then we move to our underwriting department, and their typical turn times are anywhere from 3 to 7 business days, averaging that 4 to 5 mark. So inside of a week with an active borrower,
that's
we can
pretty
have
good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then it's true that like the underwriting process continues on throughout the transaction. However, the most important part is within those 7 business days, would you say? Or?
Yeah, well, the most important first part, right? So
the most important first
part. So in all areas in mortgages, and more especially here in Mexico, because it is so important, the collateral piece, right? The initial part is the credit approval and getting the borrower's credit situation and their capacity, determined, and get them a solid conditional loan approval up front. Now, the legal transfer process takes longer. That's where the lawyers and all those bright minds are working to,
they have their task list.
That's right. That is not much more complicated, but it takes a lot more time. So we have a longer life cycle here in Mexico than we do back in maybe the United States, or which you might be familiar with in Canada. So we do have to, we ask the borrower to maintain their credit position and their credit standing throughout the process. Depending on how long it takes for the legal team to get through and to the closing, we might have to update some income and asset documents, maybe some credit information and that kind of stuff. But,
would you say the typical closing time when getting financing is about 90 days?
I would. I would. We recommend that when somebody comes to us in a purchase transaction, we recommend the contract be for at least 60 days. We recommend a 90-day term.
90 days.
Yeah.
Then we can just all be relaxed.
Absolutely. And as you know, just be prepared for delays if something happens. Sometimes you have something to do with the property or a manifestation or something along the way where there might be an adjustment.
Which we had that in a previous.
We have.
Right? Yeah. With the manifestation, we're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it did cause a delay.
Sure.
But it closed literally right in the nick of time.
Yes.
And it had us a little shaking in our boots, but because it was around Christmas time.
Yeah. Oh, and there's an added layer.
Yeah.
Right, with vacation time.
Right. Everyone's like, I want to be in my new place at Christmas.
Absolutely.
We'll make that happen for you.
Yeah, we at Moxi, we understand that nobody wins until we close and fund the deal. So we come with an aggressive and not an aggressive mindset, but we come with all urgency. We're focused on moving towards the closing date. We know that anything could happen throughout that process. Right? So
and solution orientated as well. Always looking for the solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not really a group that likes to not
make it work. No.
Phase, right? Yeah.
We want everyone to succeed.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I don't want to bombard you with any more questions, but if you have any more questions for I or for Chris, please leave a message below, and you can contact me to get to him.
Perfect.
He is my go-to. I trust and have worked with him on several transactions. So do not hesitate if you are somebody looking to purchase property in Los Cabos and you're wanting some more information on financing, contact me and I will send you in the right direction.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Yes.
All right. Great. Awesome. Perfect.
That's it.
Okay, wonderful.